I think we're live. Good morning, everybody. It's a fantastic morning, beautiful morning, very chilly morning. Having my coffee. Oh, that's nice. Y'all, I actually had to put on some fuzzy socks. That's how cold it is. It's okay, though. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. As you could tell from the thumb, I've been a little busy in the old thinker. With our channel, we number one want to entertain. That's the thing. Another thing that we want to do, we want to build community. That's important to us. And the third thing we want to do is give you, our subscribers, some value for coming over and clicking the thumbs up and dropping the comments. And you're investing your time in us. So we want to give you some value for that. So before we get off into all of that, and look, it can be fun. It can be a lot of fun. But before we get off into all of that, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. So we have Miss Jovita Navarro. Hello, dear. I was just thinking about you the other day. I finally figured out the fix for the leather patches on the hat. So, yep, I'm going to be getting a package in the mail to you real quick. Musgrave Family Farm is here. Good morning, good morning. Building with Keith and Mickey. My sweet friends. We haven't seen you since 10 Killer. We think of you often. And we know you're doing great on your home build. So, yay, you guys. Troy Sutton's in the house. Good morning, Troy. Aw, thank you. We love you too, Troy. You're an awesome human being. Joel is not here with me because he's working. And he's back to working Fridays again, too. So, yeah, it was nice while it lasted. But to be very honest about it, it's going to be nice to have bigger paychecks every week. So, there's that. It's the Extreme Dream is in the house. Good morning, Reverend. Hope you and the missus are doing well. Hi, Bowen, Thunderstick Ministry and Homestead. Thunderstick Homestead and Ministry? Homestead and Ministry. There you go. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well, too. Evelyn Newman. Hey, sissy. Rebecca Touched by Yarn is in the house. Country to Coast. Happy to see you. Oh, let's stick Evelyn's up there. It's really nice to see all of y'all. Thank you so much for coming in and spending time. Barbara McGee, you're a new name to me. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. Wonderful to see you all. I just had it on my head that I thought, well, let's do a little brainstorming. And you guys are always so helpful. You'll send me emails or you reach out. You can find us on Facebook, by the way. Now, to be very honest about it, I don't check Facebook very often. I'm really bad at that. So forgive me if you don't hear from me. It's just because I haven't been there. But emailing me is the best way to get a hold of me. And that email, Ms. Jovita, if you would you please drop my email if you're not working, if you've got the time and you can do it. But you can find our email address in the About section on our channel page. It's in there. And I try to respond to every email. And that leads me to one of the other things I was thinking about. I was thinking about making an email list. And then I could, send out an email to everybody on the list, letting them know what's coming up, when new content is coming out, and that sort of thing. So let me know if you'd be interested in doing that. Thank you, Jovita. Thank you very much. Let me go ahead and get that up there. That right there is my email. So that's how you can get a hold of little Miss Me. So ever since I guess I started it on Monday. I started taking tax courses. And these are, it's an 18-month program. So it's a year and a half. I didn't want to spend a year and a half on it. Now, that 18 months is based on the average person and their time availability or their willingness to devote X amount of time every day to this. I'm not that person. I want to have this completed in under 3 months. It's very intensive. It's and it's covering all the new tax laws as well as upcoming changes. When we get a new administration in and this holy terror of the last 4 years is ended, we're going to see even more changes. So I like to stay fresh and I like to keep going because I have always done our own taxes. I cannot see spending a huge chunk of money to let somebody else do what I am perfectly capable of doing. And it turns out I'm pretty good at it. So I'm going to keep doing that. Hi, Arlene. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. So it's been rolling around in my head that maybe, and this might be very elementary for so many of you, but there are many among us who have a hard time figuring out money, figuring out how to use it, how to save it, how to spend it, how to keep it, how to stretch it, how to do all the things with money that make money a benefit to us rather than some corporate machine, right? And it turns out that I'm pretty darn good at that too. Joel has often teased that if I have a $5 bill, I'm going to turn it into 25. And that's not because I'm doing any kind of investment strategy or anything like that. I am just really good at where I spend money. I'm very careful. I'm frugal, but I'm not a tightwad, although I do tease about being a tightwad. One of the biggest things that I see that trips people up, and in Colorado, we saw this on the daily. The housing market was exploding. And these big, beautiful, by all standards, mansions were being built all over the place. And they were being marketed as entry-level homes for the first-time home buyer. Sounds pretty good, right? And that seemed to be the dream for a lot of people, to have 3,000 square foot plus on a pretty lot in a great town with good schools and, all the things. And young families would buy into that dream. And it is the American dream, to have your own property, to have your, to be, right? But they soon found out that it wasn't, they could achieve it, but they couldn't maintain it. I was watching it every day, bidding wars on houses that would come up on the market. And they would be, in the first place, they sprang up like weeds. There'd be a bare lot there one day, and the next week it's a finished home. So corners are getting cut. Well, You could buy one of those houses starting at about 700,000. And they were luring in younger couples, first-time home buyers, with promises like 0% interest, no closing costs, that kind of thing. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. Repeat after me. Nothing is free. They're going to get your money. One way or another, they're going to get your money. After a year or two, a year or two at no or very low interest, all of a sudden, the interest rate blew up. These people were doing adjustable rate mortgages. That means you're at the whim of the federal government and what they decide to do. So people who were used to paying around $3,000 a month for a mortgage payment, which were now having to pay about $7,500 a month. And they were completely upside down. They couldn't turn around and sell it because they couldn't get the money back that they had committed to paying for it. And we were watching this happen on the daily. It all looks good on paper, especially if somebody, smiles at you and bats their baby blues at you. Well, sign me up. No, not us. We had our place just about paid off. When God spoke and I listened, or we listened. When we sold it, we had a minimal amount left to pay on the mortgage. That left the purchase 90% profit for us. Now, Joel had built the home, so he knew exactly what he had into it. And of course, we remodeled, we did all that. We did it out of pocket. We didn't finance anything. So when we sold that, we were able to, get the heck out of Dodge, get to a place that, we love, on acreage, with a home that we paid cash for. We got rid of our debt. And I'm just like everybody else right now. I'm stretching every penny. You have to. When a gallon of milk is $7-8, a loaf of bread is what now? $3? I don't know. I don't buy bread. But it gets me to thinking there are so many ways, and the biggest way to save money in these days is to simply tell yourself, no. You don't have to have the expensive car. You don't have to have the 3,500 square foot mansion. You do not have to have designer everything. You don't have to. If you want to, and that's what you want to do you, boo. That's not how we roll. And we're going to weather this financial storm just fine because of it. Bread is $3.99. Lord have mercy. It cost me less than 50 cents to make a loaf of bread. Learn to make bread. But I also understand not everybody wants to live out in the country on acreage. Not everybody has the ability to do a garden and raise animals and all the things. I understand that. There are so many other ways that you can take $1 and stretch the behemothsness out of it. It's crazy. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, hi, Karen. I didn't see you come in. I saw everybody saying hi to you. Hi. So I thought about once I finish this tax course that I'm doing, and and I will have it finished. I've been working on it about 10 to 12 hours a day. I have been laser focused to learn all the things, right? Then I want to pass it on to all of you. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think. If you would be interested in learning more about economizing and, you know, thrifty ways to be and learning how to do your own taxes, learning new tax, I don't know, tips and tricks. I don't condone doing anything illegal. I'm going to tell you that right now. Speaking of illegal, so you might have seen the video I did where somebody sent us a fancy new pressure canner. Turns out it's illegal in this state to have a pressure canner like that. So I sent it back, thanked him profusely, but I will not participate in anything illegal. Thrift stores are fun, Karen. I love them. And I have a really good friend. A lot of you know her, Tara over at White Rock. She is the thrifting queen. I tell you what, she can look at what I would think is a piece of junk and turn it into a masterpiece. She's amazing. She's amazing. I want to learn how to be better at it. Tony, my friend, hi. Yeah, I know our garden is gone too. We had frost here 2 mornings in a row. Y'all, it was 30 degrees when I got up this morning and I heard this weird noise in the house. Not weird like mice running around. We've handled that situation. I'm happy to report. It was the heat pump kicking on. It hasn't kicked on since the last cold day we had back in February or March. All of a sudden it kicked on this morning. Like, okay, well, it still works. So there's that. Okay, so Bone's asking a legit question. How can a pressure canner be illegal? Well, I thought it was a pressure canner. It was a still. And stills are illegal to own here. Yeah. Own, possess, have on your property, however you want to say it. They are not legal here. So I sent it back. It was a bone chilling 60 degrees this morning here in South Texas. Well, just rub it in, Jovita. I imagine after the summer heat, that feels pretty darn cold to you. Yeah. It would have been fun to do, but I can have fun and be legal at the same time, and that's kind of where I live. So, yeah, it's hoodie weather here too. Oh, it's a burr. But I got my coffee. I got my coffee. Black Rifle coffee. Freedom Roast. Isn't that a cute mug? I just love this mug. It's clay. I love it. Looks like a little kitty. Yeah, 42 degrees in Northwest Pennsylvania. Wow, that's pretty country there. I imagine the sky is just vivid blue. It is here. It's just that beautiful autumn blue. I really ought to get the drone up. I really ought to take another lesson from Joel before I do that, though. That's an expensive toy to hurt, and hurt it I would. So while I'm doing this tax course, and I am doing it online, it dawned on me how reliant we are on the Google and all things digital. Y'all, wherever I can avoid it, I avoid like the plague storing things on a cloud or really on anything digital. I don't like it. Don't like it. Not if it's something that I'm going to need. Now, I have medical books, I have law books, I've got a very extensive library. Reading is important to me. I love books. I've got everything from canning to animal husbandry to zoology. It was there. I got nuclear physics. Whatever. But when it comes to important stuff like personal finances, recipes that I need, especially recipes that require cooking over an open flame. Okay, so like in an SHTF type situation, any information I would need, I have in book form, or I write down in one of these handy dandy little dudes. It's a spiral notepad, y'all. Spiral notepad and a pen. Those are my tools. Those are my most used tools in this house. Crashes happen, right? Clouds fail. Anything digital has glitches and will fail or can fail. Yeah, however you want to look at it. And I'm not saying computers are bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that your crucial information, like what do I do to prevent tetanus or other infections? How do I recognize a blood infection? How do I recognize this, that, and the other? What can I do to help this? Learning to sew, all these things I have in book form. And I would encourage you to lean less on the Google and read more. It sharpens your brain. It really does. It sharpens your brain. Hey, Gladys Ivy's in. How are you guys feeling? I saw a little blip of something that all y'all have been sick again. I hope you're doing better. Give me a holla when you're healthy. Now, I hope you guys have turned the corner and you're doing better. We are in a position now. You know, I said one of the most important things that you can learn to do is to tell yourself no. You know, that applies to a lot of different things. It's okay to say no. It is. And it's okay to have boundaries. Those are a good thing when they're used properly, right? It's not rude to say no. We're all put here for a purpose. We may not know, we may never know what our individual purpose is. But we do know that number one, we are stewards of the gifts that we're given. We are to be wise stewards. So if you are blessed to have $100 in the bank, being wise doesn't mean you go out and figure out how to blow $105. It means you take that gift, and it's a blessing, it's a gift. You take that and you make it grow. And that can be, that can be by converting that $100 into something that is going to yield you more down the road later on. Real estate is a prime example of that. Joel and I right now are looking for another piece of property. We don't want a house or anything like that. We want the property. And we want to start buying property. Not necessarily right where we are. We're versatile. They will never make more real estate. So investing in a piece of ground is always a good idea. So that's what we're doing. Jovita, exactly. Live beneath your means. That was drilled into my head. My father was an extremely successful businessman. He didn't have a college education until I went to college. He was in his 50s when he went and he got his bachelor's degree. Proud day. That was pretty awesome. And it was kind of cool, actually. I didn't mind having my dad in a couple of my classes. It was kind of fun. He was a good guy. Anyway, he had common sense. He had common sense and a can-do attitude, and that's what got him through life. He was loved by so many people all over the world. It was amazing. Anywhere we went, having dinner in Paris with him one night, and he was approached by a couple of men who, just started chit-chatting with him. And I'm like, Dad, how do you know these people? In Turkey was the same way, and people coming up to him. It was amazing. Anyway, his number one thing, here's my notepad again. He kept track of everything. He wrote everything down. And his number one rule was live beneath your means. Tied in first place with that was pay yourself first. And I always wondered what that meant. So he sat me down and he taught me the ways, which was really awesome. Out of every paycheck he got, he tithed to the church. We were brought up in a German Lutheran church. That's where we were. He tithed. He paid himself. And sometimes, and that number would fluctuate, I'm sure. It was never a set amount. Some paychecks he could only afford this much because he was raising 5 kids, right? But sometimes it could be this much. And he always did I forget what they call it, but it was like a year-long savings account for Christmas. So he had that, and every paycheck he would put what he could into those accounts and just kept building. He never missed a week, or I don't know, bi-weekly. I don't know how he was paid. That was none of my business. Oh, good, Gladys. Yeah, Gladys brings up a great point here. There are wants and there are needs. Okay, we need to eat. We don't need to eat out at restaurants or fast food 3 and 4 times a week. In fact, I kind of advocate against it all, but I'm married to somebody who enjoys eating out once in a while. Not a reflection on my cooking. It's just, and quite frankly, it's kind of nice to have a little break every now and again. That's kind of cool. But you have to figure out what it is you need to survive versus what you want. And it's the wants that get us. But that's just the way of it, right? But I'm thinking about doing a series on Economizing for the simple folk. How about that? We could call it something like that. I'm thinking about doing something like that, and then doing a tax course. A lot of my friends, especially here, are YouTubers. And so that means they're self-employed. They're responsible for their own taxes and, all that. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get yourself into trouble really quickly because they're in it to get as many dollars out of you as they can. Your job is to keep as many dollars as you can legally. Money management for beginners. I like that too, Jovita. And admittedly, a lot of what I learned is from making mistakes through the years. And you're going to make mistakes. Everybody does. And that's okay. But once you recognize the mistake, if you just kind of let it slide or you keep doing it, now it's a behavior. Stop it. Fix your mistakes. Preach? No, I don't want to preach. Am I sounding preachy? I don't want to be preachy. I don't want to be preachy. But yeah, the simple things, and I've done this on our channel. I've shown you how I make laundry detergent. And you don't think it adds up, but over a year's time, with as much laundry as two of us go through, there's just two of us. Man, I digress. A jug of laundry detergent runs about 20 bucks. And it'll last us maybe a month. Yeah. If you have kids at home and they go through all the clothes too, maybe yours isn't lasting a month. I can make a 10-gallon supply of my laundry detergent for under $2. That looks like a win-win to me. So that's what I do. At the end of the year, I'm not saving an exorbitant amount of money, but it's money I'm not spending. So that's keeping it and making it, right? The other thing I do, I like creamer in my coffee, not the fancy schmancy stuff. I make my own. It's easy. It's easy. Bread. I was just you guys have probably seen this if you've been on our channel. We went over to help Mama B, very dear, sweet Mama B, get some trees down and mill up some lumber. And I made the hamburger rolls for that. I made beautiful brioche rolls. They cost less than $1 to make. Now it takes time and you have to learn the skill, but that's an invaluable education. If you can learn how to make your own bread, Jovita pointed out, bread's $3.99 a loaf now. And that's not for the high-end stuff. Less than 50 cents, y'all. And you have a loaf of bread. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jovita. That's very kind of you to say. That's very kind of you to say. I've had to learn to be this way because times are tough, right? Everybody's feeling the pinch right now. What is making that tree move like that? Well, I would say that's the cutest thing I've ever seen, but that's not cute in the broad daylight in the sun. It's a couple of raccoons out there and a hawk. And that's not cute in the daylight. You shouldn't see them out in the daylight. Probably going to have to, I know, squirrel, squirrel. Right. Pure imagination. I'm going to own that. I'll own that. And it serves me well. I can think my way out of most situations. Truly can. We had a situation when when Joel and I first got married, his ex-wife had wiped him out. That's a common story. It happens a lot. He was the guy saying, look, it's a parting of the ways. We don't have to be nasty. We don't have to make the lawyers rich. Whatever you want, you can take. Okay, we'll call it a day. Women tend to not think that way. And she came in with all claws out and she lawyered up, and the whole thing got very ugly, very nasty, and it blew Joel's mind. He finally got to see the true colors of the person he was married to. Anyway, he was in a hole. He had a first and a second mortgage. The second he knew nothing about. He had signed the papers for bankruptcy. Yeah. She took care of everything for him. She took care of everything for him. He didn't know that he was signing a lot of the documents that he signed. He signed to be a co-signer for a mortgage on a property in New Jersey for her brother. And he did not know that that is what he signed. His wife, who he trusted, would come to him and say, oh, I just need your signature on this so I can get, XYZ done. Okay, honey. Off he'd go. And I'm looking through all this stuff. So he went through a full-blown bankruptcy. He had to refinance his house that he built that we just, sold, paid off. He had to refinance it to get her name off of it. That was not a big deal, but that's when the credit union that we used back there, that's when they found out they weren't dealing with an idiot anymore. They weren't going to hoodwink me. And we got busy, and I shopped the mortgage. We ended up at that time, he was paying a total of 18% interest on the first and second. That's a lot of money, y'all. And by the time I got done with it, I had him at a 4.5, and his credit rating didn't even register, but he'd been a very long, good customer of this particular credit union. And when they saw that I was serious and I was going to shop it, they decided to get busy and work with me. And work with me they did. So we stayed loyal to them all the way up until the time we paid them off. We had to work incredibly hard, and we had to be smart, and we had to say no, and we had to drive the old vehicle. I sold mine just to get him caught up on his bills, right? Yeah. Those were tough times. They were also very happy times because we knew that we were working towards something. I was determined. We were going to be financially independent. The day that we sold the house in Colorado, we achieved our goal. Financially independent. It didn't last long. But we will never be in a position where we are drowning in debt again. That will never happen again. So when we sold our property, when we paid cash for this one, when we paid off the rest of our debt, credit scores went like this. You know what it means to have a very strong credit score? Every company that has goods that they finance, they're making money off of you in the form of interest. Don't do it. If you can avoid it, don't do it. And I know not everybody can live debt-free. Yeah, you have to pay a mortgage, right? You often have to have a car payment. There are things that you do need to go into debt for. That's just a sad reality. But y'all, make it work for you. In 2019, in 2019, I redid our mortgage. So I took it off of the 30-year at 4.5%. I got 2.9%, restructured it to 15 years. And that's what we paid off. So even on the 15-year, we were making substantially more than we were when we first got married. So I was making sometimes 2 and 3 mortgage payments a month, and I was applying them to the principal, specifically to the principal. So that's how we were able to have very close to a no balance on our mortgage. Yeah, you have to have, that's right. That's absolutely right, Anson. You have to have debt in order to have a good credit score. It's just this huge rat race. There are things that you need that are too expensive to pay for right out of your pocket. If you have a good credit score, you can get those things and pay less interest for them. If you have too many of those things, now you're upside down and you are buried by debt. That's not good. So where's the balance? Well, a good credit score doesn't mean diddly squat to me. I shouldn't say we're zero debt. I have a credit card and we keep a minimal balance on it and I pay it every month. Every month, every month, every month. And our credit score is slowly creeping back up. At least it's recognizable now. It's not 800 plus like it was, but it's getting better. Just doing simple things like that. Another thing that I did to help improve, because I don't know, things are so uncertain right now. I don't know from one month to the next what's going to happen. So how I combat that anxiety, I make sure I have a cushion, any kind of cushion, some kind of cushion somewhere, whether it be, whatever it looks like to you. If you have a safe in a wall in your house, tuck some money away, put it into an interest-bearing savings account, whatever you can do, buy yourself a CD. Okay. Small CD. You can start out little, buy a CD. At the end of the term of the CD, flip it, buy a second CD, and just keep flipping them, flipping them, flipping them, flipping them. To be surprised at how much money you can amass over a 5-year period of time. Here's a tip. Yeah, again, Anson, that's 100% correct. Having a good credit score doesn't matter to the rich because they pay cash for everything. I don't want to be a wealthy person, but I do want to be independent. That's our goal here, is to be independent. I don't want to have to rely on 3 numbers to get what I need, right? That's where I'm at. Good morning, Jean. Great to see you. Minnesota, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Seeing a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand how credit works. Having a good credit score is important because you never know. You never know. What if you have an unexpected bill? There are a lot of programs out there. There are specific loans tailored to people who have medical debt. They're based on your credit score. So yeah, do whatever you have to do, can do, are able to do to keep your credit score healthy without going into debt. Without going into debt. Maintain what you have and just keep rolling it over. Just play the game. Make yourself look good on paper. You know, it kind of goes without saying, but always pay your bills. Pay what you owe. Nothing's free. Yeah. Teaching your children how to grow food and can, that's amazing. That's a life skill. That is a life enriching skill. I don't know why they used to. The high school I went to is a little private school. We had home ec class, and in home ec class, we learned how to do the canning and the preserving, and we had the whole kitchen lab thing set up, and we learned to cook and bake and make bread and preserve meat and do all the things. I use those skills to this day. Trigonometry, not so much. Yeah, some schools did, some didn't. I get, like if you're in Pittsburgh, right? I doubt they teach that kind of class as their general curriculum. But where I grew up, there was a lot of agriculture. I grew up in Wisconsin. There was a lot of agriculture, a lot of farming. So food was kind of an integral part of the everyday life there. Anson, I understand. Sometimes feeling under the weather can turn really into jugheads, can't it? Yeah. I'm kidding. Love you, buddy. It was one building. And no, there were about three, I think, how many students? About 360 students in my high school. It was a small private school. However, my older sisters went to one-room schoolhouses. Yeah. We had a farm in Bettendorf, Iowa, just outside of Bettendorf, Iowa. And yeah, they went to a one-room schoolhouse there. We were only there for a couple of years. Dad got transferred, and so I can't believe they don't teach. Golly. See, rather than trigonometry or jazz for dummies, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't have any kids, so I don't have kids in school. But they really ought to teach kids how to change a flat tire, how to change their own oil, how to maintain a vehicle, not only just drive it safely, but how to maintain it. They should be taught how to budget money. They should be taught how to do their taxes. They should be taught how to preserve food, make food. They should be taught these things. These are valuable life skills. Oh, hi, Charlene. Thanks for coming in. It's good to see you. Yeah, how to pump gas, right? Just, you graduated from Riviera High School, 1985. There were 42 kids in your class. Yeah. There were there were 70 there were 76 kids in my graduating class. And I'm not going to say what number I was. But I won a lot of awards that year. Oh my goodness. I got some issues. Guys, I've had a lot of fun just kind of chit-chatting with you again. But it's that time of morning where I've got to get it in gear. I promised my dearly beloved that I was going to make some cookies, so I'm going to make some cookies. No, not from a mix. Learn some basics, and you don't have to use mixes. Those cost money. Anyway, I'm going to stop preaching. Y'all, tomorrow night, we go live at 8 o'clock Central Time. We hope that you can come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Next Friday, the 25th, y'all want to tune in to that one. That's going to be a barrel of monkeys on steroids. Let me tell you, it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, we hope that you can join us. Hope you can come in. Hope my dearly beloved is, awake. He's been putting in the hours, guys. Say a little prayer for him. So until we see you again, and there is some great content coming out soon. I'm putting together something a little special. Anyway, I'll let you know when that gets ready to drop. But until we see you again, be blessed. Keep looking up. Say thank you. Say thank you often, even for the stuff that doesn't make any sense. There's a lesson somewhere in there. Keep your attitude of gratitude. And we will catch you on the flip. See y'all. Be nice.